Parents and teachers, do your students have the Among Us app? Well, if you don't know what this app is, I'm going to show you how it works, how it can be a little bit dangerous for students, and what you can do to make sure you're keeping them safe online. Now, first of all, Among Us mobile app surpasses 200 million downloads. Just a few months ago, Among Us went from being a relatively obscure social deduction game to being one of the most well-known and played games of 2020. The continued growth of Among Us shows that this game won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Now, Among Us marketing says this. Let's watch this little video. Okay, so what is Among Us? It's a social deduction game like Clue, Werewolf, and other apps where players attempt to uncover each other's hidden role or team allegiance. Among Us is played online with 4 to 10 friends or strangers. It's become popular during the pandemic when TikTok influencers and YouTube gamers started posting videos of themselves playing this app. And there's actually a couple keys inside of this app that I've heard in pop culture that I know are from this. Now, who can play? There's no age verification required to download or play the game, and there's ways to get around it. You guys know that. Anyone can join a public game with random strangers or create or / join a passcode protected local game with friends. So you can host public, private, enter code, and all this different stuff. So how do you play it? Well, the app designates 1 to 3 players as imposters and the rest as crewmates. I'm seeing this a lot in pop culture. People are saying, you're an imposter. And it's coming from this game. Crewmates are assigned tasks to complete in different rooms of the spaceship, sky, headquarters, or planet base, right? Because they're obviously playing in space. The goal is to discover which crewmate is an imposter bent on killing everyone. Now, how do players interact? Well, votes are taken and emergency meetings are called in the chat box where players discuss suspicious behavior and report each time a body is discovered. Players win by completing all tasks or by discovering and voting off the imposter. Now, what should you know as a parent? Well, Pop Sugar says 3 things parents should know before letting their kids play the Among Us video game. Number 1, the game revolves around murder, so obviously it can be violent at times. Number 2, there's an unsupervised chat component that you need to know about. We'll talk about that in a moment. And number 3, there's an option to pay for upgrades, real money that probably is coming out of your wallet. Now, what else should parents be aware of? Well, the chats in Among Us are unmoderated, but can be censored for profanity in the game settings. I'll show you that in just a moment. Players create their own usernames, which could include inappropriate language. Players can ask to connect in other apps like Instagram or Discord, and I'll show you an example of that in just a sec. Here's examples of players asking to connect on other platforms. Look at this. So people are chatting in here, and it says, any girls on here trying to drop the snap? And what that means is, are you going to give us your Snapchat username? And people are voting on that one right there. Next, Instagram account, ? Maybe friends? Good boy wants to be friends, right? And the chances of that not being a teen the same age as your students are pretty good. And that's where it gets a little bit crazy and scary. Now, what about violence? Well, imposters kill other players during the game. The graphics are very cartoonish, but parents should be aware that weapons and blood are depicted on screen, as you can see right here. And there is a knife, and I've seen knives in pop culture these days where influencers on Instagram have like a little fake knife, and inappropriate, but I just saw it the other day and I went, that's from this as well. There's also something else that I want you to know. There's another word called suspicious, and students are often saying, that's sus, like S-U-S, and suspicious means I think you're the imposter. Is it suspicious? Now, also be aware that in-app upgrades range from 99 cents to $2.99. The app collects data to use for advertisements and video ads play after games unless you pay $1.99 to remove them. One player's warning about bullying Among Us. I did like this game, but there are some people who take this game way too literally and are threatening to kill people in real life if they don't take their side or play the way they want. I was just playing and got called a bunch of names because I stood up for another player who was getting called out because of what their player's name was. Now, Among Us in the news. Forget imposters. Among Us is a playground for hackers, they say. The blockbuster game of deception has security holes that let cheaters run wild. The Verge says Among Us is so popular that its developers just canceled the sequel. The developers are now focusing on improving the first game with new code and new features and everything else. Parents, what can you do? If playing the public option of Among Us, remind teens to never share their contact information, including usernames, for other apps with other players. Go to the settings and consider turning off the censor chat feature. Turn that on, which will show these asterisks instead of profanity. And the censor chat is right there in the middle. And if it sees any foul language, it'll just basically blurt it out or black it out. Discuss the differences between trying to trick or deceive someone while playing Among Us versus lying in real life. What you do in real life, do we do that online? Connect those dots with your students. They need someone to do that. How to avoid chatting with strangers. There's no way to disable public gameplay, but you can set rules and teach your kids 2 ways to avoid chatting with strangers on this game. Number 1, play only local games with people who share the same Wi-Fi network. Play as a family. We're about to look at how positive that can be. Create or join a private online game and only share the code with people you know in real life. Now, what else can you do? Download the app and play it before deciding if you want your kids to use it. This is always the rule, and you'll hear this from Smart Social every single time. Be on every app your kids are on. Next, play the game together as a family to understand how it works and why it's so popular. What one parent says about Among Us, and look, they like it, so we're actually not throwing the game under the bus here. Love this game, says Kristen. Love this game. It's simple yet entertaining. We play this with our teens, and it's created hours of laughter for us. We love playing detective and trying to figure out who the imposter is. This is a game anyone could learn to play. You can create your own rooms and rules, change your character, and so on. Now, parents, I hope you'll consider joining our newsletter and stay updated on the latest app guides, trends, and more at smartsocial.com newsletter. You can click those links below to do that. And each week we have weekly app guides like this, dialogue starters, guidelines, our best tips, our strategies, and steps you need to know to take the next step. Also, please don't forget to rate, subscribe, and review so we can help parents and educators just like you. We reach millions of people every year with our videos, our app guides, my 6 books that are on the market. No matter what it is, I hope that you'll take that next step and you'll visit smartsocial.com, rate, subscribe, and review. Share this with a friend. I'm so thankful. I'm Josh Ochs with smartsocial.com. As always, keep it light, bright, and polite. Your kids are watching. We'll see you soon. Have a great day.